a military style. Yes, you can see it's like a just actual human being here in armor with a gun. These guys have got some tanks as well. You can change their colors just like any other races. And if you play StarCraft, you might want to bear in mind that these guys are probably the most similar to Terrans in the Dawn of War universe. These guys can garrison their buildings. They've got bunkers. They've got really long-ranged siege tank type units. So they're like that, but they're probably not quite as aggressive as the Terrans are able to be in Dawn of War. They really have to wait till late game for the higher tech kind of stuff. So that's a quick look at the Terrans, and that's Winter Assault. This is a look at the Imperial Guard commander. We're talking about Imperial Guard here, not Terrans. So if you buy Dawn of War and then you buy the expansion Winter Assault, you get to play all those 4 races I mentioned plus Imperial Guard. Now there are 2 other expansions, so I'm going to introduce you to those. The next one is Dark Crusade, so let's go to that one here. It's Dark Crusade, opening this up. Now, the 2 races that you get in Dark Crusade, if you buy this game, the Tower and the Necrons. Now, just bear in mind that each of these expansions actually introduces new units to each race. For example, the Eldar only get a certain number of units in Dawn of War, but when Winter Assault came out, they got an extra type of unit called the Fire Dragon, which is a very sort of building destructive unit. So we're in Dark Crusade right now, and I'm going to show you Necrons, which are kind of like the undead in space kind of 40k universe background. These guys are like, they used to be real living creatures, but then they died out and they imprisoned themselves, or they buried themselves in these metal machine type robot things. And so there's some kind of real creature inside the head of this thing, but it's actually functions as a robot now. The thing about these guys in the Dawn of War universe is that they are very tough, very durable. They're very slow. They can't really walk across the battlefield very fast, but they're very durable and they're very powerful. And just a 1-to-1, they beat Space Marines, and when they die, their bodies actually sometimes get up off the battlefield. So they're very much like the undead. They keep coming back from the dead, and they're very durable, but they don't sort of take their territory in the map very quickly. They're vulnerable to harassment earlier on in the game, but if they can build up momentum later in the game, then it's all over, because these guys will just steamroll you. So that's a quick look at the Necrons. Very fun race and very cool looking race. I'll just show you the Tomb Spider, which is sort of like a vehicle type unit. This guy's sort of walking around. He can actually pick up corpses from the battlefield and repair them and so forth. Let's show you the Tau, which are a very Japanese style looking warrior. These guys are real sort of living creatures, but they're heavily armored, and their technology is really extreme. So they're a fairly new race according to the background. They've just sort of cropped up in the science fiction universe. Now, in terms of gameplay, they have awesome firepower, but they're not very good in combat. Here's one of their vehicles. They're also allied with a kind of creature called the Kroot. This is a Krootox. This is the creature down below, and you can see the Kroot unit standing on top of it. The Tau Fire Warriors themselves are really good at shooting, but not very good at combat. So to offset that, they've got the allies in the form of these Kroot warriors. But just in general, the Tau race, their strength is their firepower, their weakness is their general ability in close combat. And although Tau players try to offset that with their creature allies, they generally don't achieve that as well as the other races, so they're just not that good in close combat. So there you have it. That's Dark Crusade. There's a look at the Tau commander, by the way, at the front loading screen. So if you buy Dawn of War, and then you buy Winter Assault, then you buy Dark Crusade, you've got access to 7 races and extra units for each race. But you still won't be able to play with the rest of us, because we're all on this final game called Soulstorm. Now, Soulstorm is the 4th game in the series, and it gives you 2 more races. And the 2 races that you can pick up are Dark Eldar and Sisters Battle. Just waiting for the game to load up now, so here we go. And Soulstorm has the final patch. It's recently been patched to 1.2. And we're going to take a look at the army painter. This is a look at the Dark Eldar. They're like the evil counterpart of the Eldar, which I showed you back in Dawn of War. And these guys are very sinister. They like torturing people, and they have their own homeworld and stuff, and they're like pirates. They just fly around and harass people. In terms of the game, they're really huge on harassment. These guys just have really early access to light vehicles which fly very fast and jump around, and guys that jump around on hoverboards. They can be quite weak in a prolonged fight. They probably don't have a very good late game. But if you want harassment and you want to do a lot of early game pressure, Dark Eldar are the race for you. These guys are really nasty. Just going to show you one of their vehicles. This is a kind of an ugly looking thing. Looks a little bit like a scorpion, I guess. And the Dark Eldar also harvest the souls of the dead. When a unit dies on the battlefield, they go and harvest its soul. And that's what powers their special abilities. So Dark Eldar, very interesting race. And the final one, the Sisters of Battle. This is the game. This is the race for the girls. Well, not the girls pick this race, but it's kind of like the Space Marines, but they're women. They're like nuns in power armor. They're all women, and they have their own tanks and stuff. And they're kind of like the Catholic Church, which has been mobilized into a military kind of thing. They worship this guy called the Emperor, which is the same leader that the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard follow, but they're kind of like a different detachment. And the Sisters of Battle really focus on the kind of like the average between the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard. They're kind of like the all-rounders for the Imperium, and they've got their own selection of unit abilities and tanks and so forth. They have a special type of system called Faith, where you have to generate a special type of resource to power your special abilities, but don't concern yourself too much. If you like the look of a female wearing battle armor and firing a big gun, then this is probably your sort of race, to show you a few of the other color schemes. But that's it. If you're going to go out and buy Dawn of War, don't forget that you need to have these other expansions if you want to play these races. If you want to play with the rest of us, just buy Soulstorm and you'll have access to Sisters of Battle and Dark Eldar. But you won't be able to play the other 5 races. So what I recommend, if you're looking to buy this game, is just get a box set with all 4 games. If you don't want to buy the box set, just buy like the classic Dawn of War and Soulstorm, and at the very minimum, just buy Soulstorm, so you can play one of these 2 races, but play with the rest of us in the most patched version of the game. So there you have it. This is Vol, guys, and thanks for listening to my little commentary about Dawn of War. If you got any questions, hit me up with a comment. But really enjoying this game, and so are a lot of other people, so feel free to join.